But all these things, safety has been done by the battery management system. So we'll discuss that further also. In the further slide, you will have a look of the battery management system, how it safely operates the battery. So next thing is less safe. Of course, thermal stability is low, so it is less safe than rest of the batteries. Then we'll have a look on the lithium manganese oxide. So lithium manganese oxide has a capacity that is roughly one third than lithium cobalt. Means the capacity is less in the lithium manganese oxide, but it has low internal resistance. So low internal resistance, if you guys are from electronics or you're from a mechanical also, then also let me explain this. Okay, so low internal resistance is when the resistance is less than the current requirement. When the resistance is less and the current requirement is more, the heat generated will be little bit more as compared to the battery which has high internal cell resistance. So due to low internal resistance, fast charging and high current discharging is possible in this battery. So that's the main advantage of this battery. So internal resistance of the battery also matters to the thermal runaway. So depends on that only the advantage and disadvantage has been shown here. High thermal stability, of course, the due to low internal cell resistance, the thermal runaway temperature will increase, and it will not take a chain reaction quickly as compared to the other lithium batteries. Then next is the enhanced safety. Of course, safety also increases, then low internal resistance. Disadvantage, less cycle life and low performance. That's the disadvantage of the lithium manganese oxide. So less cycle life, says same thing, means it has the less cycle life charging discharging rate that compared to the other lithium batteries. Then there is a modified version of both the lithium batteries, which are very much used in the electric vehicles, and lithium nickel manganese, that's the battery, lithium nickel manganese cobalt oxide. So these batteries means these batteries more successful in electric vehicle. Most of the vehicle manufacturer OEMs use this battery for their electric vehicles. So the first point indicates that only one of the most successful lithium ion system is a cathode combination of nickel manganese cobalt. That the another word which is very much spread in the market is NMC battery, lithium NMC battery. So it has the high specific energy, means it is the combination of both lithium manganese as well as the cobalt. So it has taken the advantage of lithium manganese with a low internal resistance, and with cobalt high specific energy. Both the advantage are built into this lithium nickel manganese cobalt oxide battery. So you can see the advantages. So the advantage of this battery is high specific energy, low internal resistance, and good cycle life. But only the main concern is less safe than LFP. So it is safer than other batteries also, but less safe than LFP. Why I have compared this thing, I will explain you in the further slide, the coming slide. So next battery is lithium iron phosphate. So lithium iron phosphate battery offers good electrochemical performance with low resistance. This made possible with nanoscale phosphate cathode material. So same thing, cathode and anode has been changed here also. So two batteries which are most successful is first the NMC, which I had explained before, and the second one is LFP, which is also very much safer than that of the NMC batteries. Most of the OEMs which looks through the safety concern, and most of the OEMs which has high energy density required. So this depends on the various parameter depends on the battery selection. So most of the OEMs uses LFP batteries, and most of the OEMs uses NMC batteries. So we'll have a look on the advantages. So one of the safest, okay. So that's what I had explained before. Then good thermal stability, better cycle life. So the cycle life is much more improved in the lithium lithium iron phosphate. So that's the advantage of LFP batteries. And the disadvantage, you can say, yeah, low energy density. Then NMC, yeah, yes, as cobalt is used in NMC battery, so it has high specific energy. So of course, due to low, what is the difference between specific energy? Means what are the, when I am saying the disadvantage and when I'm saying the advantages? So what the difference here is, the volumes get reduced, the weight get reduced, and when the vehicle weight get reduced, it will give more range as compared to the previous, as compared to the vehicle which has high volume or high weight. So that's the main concern here. So that's why most of the OEMs uses NMC batteries and most of the OEMs uses LFP batteries. So depends on the battery. The battery management system is also the thing which keep the battery safer. So NMC battery is not like OEMs are compromising the safety. OEMs are giving the BMS also. That BMS just the BMS rules the battery, you can say, or the BMS drives the battery, how the battery should work. So we'll discuss that also. Next is lithium, nickel, cobalt oxide, aluminum oxide. So here nickel, cobalt, aluminum oxide is used in the battery. So this is also having some advantages and disadvantages. So this was the only to know about you what are the lithium batteries which are not used in electric vehicle, but which can be used in electric vehicle further in the future. So that was my intention to keep this battery in your eye. So it has the advantages and disadvantages. High energy advantages are high energy and power density. High energy, that is a specific energy, and power density, that means it will require low amount of volume to give that specific energy. And then good lifespan. The life cycle is also very much improved in this battery. Disadvantage are high cost. It is costlier than the NMC batteries and LFP batteries. Because of that, it has been not used. So the development is going on these batteries. So as the this, if we see the graph of the if you graph of the battery, means how it is getting reduced, means how the cost of the battery is getting reduced. So by seeing all these things in future, maybe lithium NCA batteries will also be more used in the electric vehicle as well. So future development is towards the NCA battery as well. Then comes here the lithium titanium batteries. So lithium titanium batteries is so we'll have a look on the advantage and disadvantage. Same like anode and cathode had get distributed here. Different anode and cathode are used. So lithium batteries has the high discharging rate and has the high life cycle also, but it is expensive, due to which the lithium titanium battery is not used. But lithium titanium battery is used in military application, the application where there is very much importance of the battery. Of course, the satellite space also uses the lithium titanium battery. In future, the working was also been going through the lithium titanium battery. Once get that approved, and once the uh, cost of the lithium titanium battery get reduced, that will be the next step for the electric vehicle to go through the lithium titanium battery as well. Then trending batteries. What are the trending batteries? As said before, the two batteries are very much used in electric vehicle: lithium ion and NMC batteries. So what are the difference? Means actually what these batteries are? So I have just given the comparison of the batteries. So overall, to get the overall view of the LFP batteries and NMC batteries, the voltage given here is the nominal voltage of the LFP battery is 3.2 or 3.3. So that's the 10 millivolt tolerance, you can say. So when NMC battery has 3.6 and 3.7, that means if you use a 15 cell in series, so this will give you 48 volt of battery. So it depends what I had explained before. Only the multiplication is the matter. So, and the next thing is operating range. Operating range is 2.5 to 3.6. So what that really mean? 2.5 to 3.6. When the battery get charged, or when the battery get discharged, so the voltage also get reduced or the voltage get increased. So while charging the battery, the voltage of the battery get increased from the 3.2 to 3.6, and when the battery get discharged, then the battery get discharged, then it get reduced from the 3.6 to 2.5. So that's the range of the voltage per cell. That's why I have just mentioned that point. So whenever if you have a multimeter, so you will come to know about the how the voltage performance are in the cells. And the next thing is so the operating range for NMC battery is 3 to 4.2. So it is greater than that of the LFP batteries. Means as said before, that it has high specific energy, so voltage get increased here. And due to high specific energy, low volume will be required. Then we'll go to specific energy. So specific energy, the numbers you can see it is 120 here and 220 here. So the specific energy is more in NMC batteries. Then charging and discharging rate is 1C. 1C 1C indicates that when the battery capacity, just like I said before, we can take that example, lead acid battery, what I had explained before, 5 Ah. So when the battery is able to deliver the amount of energy of 5 ampere, then the battery is discharging at the rate of 1C. That means 1 into capacity of the battery. Means what is the capacity of battery? If the battery capacity is 10 Ah, then the battery will be delivered to discharge the battery at 10C. And here you can see in NMC is 0.7C to 1C. So that's the changes with respect to the manufacturer and OEM. So these are the range which has been seen in the NMC batteries. Discharging C rate is same, 1C 25C. For NMC it is 1C and 2C. So more discharging rate can be seen in LFP batteries. The discharging rate is also in NMC batteries, but the chemistry improvement has been done. So that gets expensive. Cycle life, you can see 2000 cycle, and here it is 1000 to 2000. So 2000 cycle means that you can charge and discharge your battery 2000 times. 2000 times if you calculate, so it divide by 365, so it goes to around 4 to 5 years approximately. So that's the main life cycle of the lithium ion battery, lithium ion phosphate battery. Then comes to thermal runaway. So thermal runaway is more in LFP batteries, as I explained before, 270 degrees Celsius. By achieving the 270 degrees Celsius, the temperature will get rise more and more. The chain reaction will take place as soon as it hits the 270 degrees Celsius, and of course the battery safety concern will come into picture, and it will destroy the battery or it will catch fire. And then next is 210 degrees Celsius. Of course, when NMC batteries temperature hit to 210 degrees Celsius, the chain reaction take place and it get affected. So next is the overview. Overview in this graph you can see. So I have just get this from Battery University. So Battery University is the site which has developed a image or develop a graph which will give you overview of the battery. So specific energy, specific power, safety, performance, lifespan, cost. By all these parameter, you can see in a one picture. So you can see specific energy is more in this NMC batteries and less in this LFP batteries. But according to the lifespan, you can see the lifespan is more is here and it is less here. So that's give you overview of the battery. So we'll have a look on the types of cells available for lithium ion batteries and this your NMC batteries. So three types of cells are used in electric vehicle. So that is first one is cylindrical, then second one is prismatic, and third one is polymer. So all of them batteries, all of battery has their several advantage and disadvantage due to which they are used in electric vehicle. So the first model of the Tesla, which was developed in US, so that the Tesla uses the cylindrical batteries, and most of the OEMs now you are using parasitic prismatic batteries and polymer batteries as well. You can see the pros and cons given below. The cylinder has low cost, bulky size. Of course, the cylindrical as a shape, if we just connect the batteries in parallel or series, the shape that there is a gap created between in the cylindrical battery, so the volume gap increases in cylindrical batteries. In prismatic batteries, that doesn't happen. In rectangle, we can arrange series and parallel, so the volume get reduced in this thing. The area required by the batteries get vary with batteries to battery, and pouch cell can be arranged as per our requirement. So these three batteries are mostly used. These three types of cells are mostly used in the electric vehicles. Next is the BMS. So yeah, so we are on the BMS. So what actually BMS does? What how it saves the battery, means how it saves the battery as well as the electric vehicle. Means why our battery cannot get brushed or something something harmful happen. So what is the main thing here? The BMS take over control of temperature, voltage, current, over discharge voltage protection, communication interface, over current protection, cell balancing, overcharge voltage protection, GPS telematic device, short circuit protection. So these are the protection which are taken by the BMS. BMS just act like a brain to the battery. What it does actually, it control the temperature, it control the voltage, it control the current. Means what amount of current should be delivered to the motor, what amount of voltage should be delivered to the motor. The cell balancing, what this cell balancing actually means, when the battery get discharged, so different groups of cells have different internal resistance. Due to different internal resistance, the battery discharging take place at different voltage. So this thing is managed by battery management system. What battery management system do, it just balance the battery, means it keeps the battery in the same range. It keeps the battery, the whole battery pack in the same range while discharging. So that's the main thing done by the battery management system. And there is also many cooling system which are involved in BMS system, such as you can say in coming electric vehicle, or most of the electric vehicle given by the Tesla and this Toyota also. So they uses the liquid cooling to the battery. So all the liquid cooling are handled by the BMS. Means it just the temperature of the battery. So let's have a look. Let's have a look on the datasheet of the battery. BMS system. So the BMS system, the data sheet is like voltage is charging voltage is 21 volt. So these all data sheet depends on the what are the application used in, what means the vehicle application, whether the vehicle is used for cargo, or whether the vehicle is used for high range. So depends on that the BMS specification get increase or decrease. So the voltage specification, the current protection, that get increase or decrease, the balancing resistance. So these all things are just to give you overview of the what is going in the industries. What are the BMS specification actually we specified while having any battery. Means while having, if you're developing any kind of activa, any kind of bicycle, then you can go through this will be very much helpful to you to get the overview of the BMS system, how it manages the battery. Then comes to the battery charging. So once the battery get discharged, so what to do? So that's the refueling. So there are three types of charging used in batteries for battery. That's inductive charging, conductive charging, and battery swapping. So battery swapping is the one which is not come yet, but it is in development process, and only Sun Mobility, the company Sun Mobility, has developed these swapping batteries. So I'll explain you further about the inductive charging, conductive, and battery swapping. So inductive charging is basically the charging which is done wirelessly. So if you have seen anybody of them, the Samsung has developed the inductive charging. You can keep your mobile up to the board, and your mobile gets charged. So that's the inductive charging. So you can just, this principle can be used same in electric vehicle as well. As you need to just park the vehicle and the battery get charged. So why this inductive charging come into picture? Because most of the time everybody don't, means sometimes some people get forgot to charge the vehicles. Then this will create very much problem in the next day while going to the office, or when while going to the school or somewhere else. So that's the inductive charging advantages. So while parking it in the parking area only, you can charge your battery automatically. So the standard which was recently come was SAE J2954. So this standard express you about the induction battery, induction charging, inductive charging, how the inductive charging take place. So while one opinion from my side, if you are a student, so if you want to know more about the charging, if you want to know more about the battery, so you can have a look on the standard as well. While seeing the standard, you will understand more about the battery or charging, what is going in the industries. Then next is the conductive charging. So this is the conductive charging picture. You can see the vehicle beside this is a Tata Nexon. the Tata Nexon is getting charged with the wire, so that's called the conductive charging. So there are various types of connectors used in conductive charging. So this charging uses the AC charging and DC charging as well. So various connector you can see CCS1, CCS type, GBT, then Camedo J1 772. So most of the means what is going in the industry, most of the Indian market is using the charging is this CCS type 2, which include AC as well as DC charging. It depends, you can see Europe and rest of the world, this one. So this charging connector is mostly used in India market. And now you can see the various OEMs are trying to build their charging station on the various platforms and various area in Pune, Mumbai. So the development is going on for conductive charging, just to implement the charging station beside to the fuel station. Next one is the swapping battery. So that you can see the image here is the swapping battery technology. The swapping battery technology is the one which require only 5 minutes of 5 minutes of refueling, just like your fuel, or while going to the petrol pump, you require only 5 minutes of time to refill your vehicle and again go to the go to where you want to go. So that's the swapping technology. What happens in swapping technology, the battery get replaced with the new batteries, the charge batteries. And this is the initiative by Sun Mobility. So this is already implemented with Piaggio vehicles. It is not available in all the areas, but it will be soon available as the development is going on this too. Let's see, the battery pack here used is 1.5 kilowatt, the single battery pack, and depends on the range, depends on the OEM's manufacturing the vehicle. They two batteries or three batteries or maybe six batteries can be used for a single vehicle, which can also take away your range anxiety challenge and give you the range. So next is the simulation software. So what are the simulation software we can use for battery and BMS? Simulation software for battery will be MATLAB SimSpace. So that's the software which can use, and ANSYS Fluent, Autoleon. So in this software for battery, you will have different kind of the chemistry, means nickel cadmium or lead acid, different kind of chemistry you can assemble in that simulation and get simulated. And for BMS, you can use MATLAB and Simulink, VectorCAD tool, Altium, Eagle. Altium Eagle is for PCB designing, means how you're designing your BMS, and then comes to MATLAB and Simulink. So it just simulate your BMS, how it's responding. And while the simulation, you can get 60 to 70% of your result, not practically, but by PC. And VectorCAD tool is the CAN tool. The CAN is basically the communication protocol which is used by the BMS. So the CAN protocol was developed by Bosch. So the vector CAN tool helps you to simulate the BMS with respect to CAN. Means the tool will send the data to the battery BMS system, and by this how the BMS responds, how the response has been going through that. So these all things are judged in the vector CAN tool. So this software you can use in future if you want to go with the battery or for BMS. Then next comes the career path and job role. So as I am also in industries only, uh, in the electric vehicle industry, so I am interacting with most of the vendors and most of the battery vendors, most of the motor vendors. So for battery chemical engineering, of course, because the chemical reaction only take place in the battery, you have seen the electrode, negative electrode and positive electrode. So the chemistry what you develop gives rise to the battery, means the chemistry which you have done, means you can say chemical in, because in mechanical or in electronics engineering you don't know about anything more about the chemistry. So of course you should go with the chemical engineering to become expert in batteries. And while going through that you can become a battery engineer, battery R&D engineer. For BMS, one can do electrical and electronics engineering and expert or MS, masters in power electronics. then you can become hardware engineer, PCB designing engineer. So these are the opportunities, and these are the education you can get to come into this stream for batteries as well as the BMS. Then this is the image for the top players in electric vehicle market. So you can see here the Tesla has uses the battery cell from Panasonic companies. So these are the companies you can highlight to your job career. So as a dream job, you can say. So for Tesla, Panasonic has given the battery cells, and for BMW i3 2014 model, the Samsung has given that. Then again Panasonic. So Panasonic and Samsung has a very much clear hand in their electric vehicle markets. Then comes AESC also. Then Chevrolet Bolt. The Chevrolet Bolt has developed all its component with LG only. So these are the top players you can go with for your job opportunities and for your job career, you can say.